Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to WCS Winter Americas region. We are going to be moving into our next match. This is going to be the lower bracket match, as my name is Fear Dragon. I'm joined by the In Control.
Wait,
what's up?
Put it back.
The lower thirds.
Production. That's me.
Former SC2 pro player. What happened, Jeff? When did you wash up?
I'll take this. It used to just say StarCraft 2 player, like just a guy who just plays the game. Like, thanks, dudes. Happy to be here. No, it's nice. It's fine. I appreciate everything they do.
Oh, of course. We are, again, going to be moving into that next match where we are following MCanning and TooDming into that lower bracket match. An elimination match to see who is going to be knocked out of WCS Winter on the first day.
Yeah, I'm just actually, I'm checking out this picture because I heard you guys talking about how handsome TooDming is. He's a handsome guy. That is a cool jacket.
TooDming's handsome. I think MCanning especially, though.
They're a couple of handsome dudes. This will be, you know, MCanning, I think he told you this, so I'm going to steal your own line, but he was talking about how he was focusing on PvZ to make his way out of this group, right?
Yeah.
He's saying special is not something he's going to spend time on. I think that's a pretty fair math to do in a group like this. Like, to try and raise your level of play and spend time beating special seems a little bit difficult to do, whereas beating Eric, who's kind of new to the Challenger system here, and then also to beat someone like TooDming, who is very good in that Chinese scene, but outside of China, a lot of these Chinese players struggle.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I was talking with MCanning between the series after he lost a special. And, you know, a lot of people would be like, oh, they just lost this series. They're probably not going to be in a great place, especially since he was able to take a game off a special. Maybe he got that hope. But no, immediately he's just like, not bad, not bad.
Yeah.
Considering I meant to go for charge in that second game, but that's pretty good. That's awesome. So he's going in with high spirits because all of his preparation is on his PvZ. And I think the cool thing about his MCanning's PvZ, you watch his stream a lot lately, this is his more diverse matchup. This is a matchup he feels good about, and the matchup that he has a lot of different things he can throw out, and he's done all of his preparation for.
Oh. And I think it's going to shape up pretty well for him. We saw the stats earlier from our very own DJ Perplexer. It was like something like a 75% PvZ win ratio. And that's, of course, in competitive matches, which he doesn't have as many of, but it still is pretty good. And I think TooDming's a good opponent for him in the sense that he's a very good Zerg, but not, you know, you're not getting Cero level here.
And also, I think MCanning, one of his biggest things that he struggles with, because you were mentioning, he's a streamer. He's a really prolific streamer in the StarCraft scene. But that's like the American or the English-speaking StarCraft scene. TooDming is not really a part of that scene as much. I don't think I would be surprised if he knows that much about MCanning.
Right. So
that kind of advantage, or like I should say disadvantage, of being a streamer and having all of your games and your practice and builds out there isn't really going to be as prevalent.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, and you're right. I just don't think that even me, who does watch MCanning, when I think of his PvZ, I'm not thinking of any huge stylistic thing. Like even he's known for his disruptors, but not in the PvZ matchup, that kind of stuff. So I don't know. It's a little bit of column A and column B though too, right? Like I doubt MCanning knows anything about TooDming, and
that's
you guys were saying
that's
it earlier.
Very accurate.
The Chinese players are very aggressive typically, but also they're a little insular. Like TooDming is in that kind of top 5 in the Chinese scene, up there with Max and some of these other guys. But at the same time, we don't get to see a lot of those games, so who knows what he's doing that success with.
Those tournaments and stuff are not even actually streamed on Twitch, so it's kind of becomes this weird thing where I know MCanning was having trouble hunting down the VODs and stuff as he was trying to prepare for TooDming. But we'll see where things go. Game number 1 is getting loaded on up. We're going to Kairos Junction, and MCanning told me a few of the things that he has planned, so I'm excited, but I also don't want to reveal them in case Eric is listening and decides to use him there.
Eric? Oh.
Yeah.
The other
Eric.
Because you're just already assuming he loses to special.
Well, you know, it's a possibility.
It's fair.
You know, based on years of Copa America. All right. Well, starting up here on the top left-hand corner of the map, the man that even Cyril is afraid to have as a practice partner. It is MCanning.
False, by the way. I'm so excited for the unveiling of Cyril, by the way, this year.
Unveiling?
He's got to, oh, God. He's got to keep it up, but that'll be later. For right now, we're looking at the red Zerg. From China, it's TooDming. 30 years old, by the way. On behalf of me and Artosis, we thank you for holding on as long as you have into your ancient old body form.
He's making it up there. One day he'll become a commentator. He too shall have the title, former SC2
Former
pro player.
StarCraft 2 player, yeah. It's a good one.
Solid.
So why don't you tell me, again, you did say that, so maybe you don't. I'm going to ask the question anyways. You can say, nah, we'll wait. What is the stuff that MCanning does in PvZ?
So this is the thing. He has a huge diversity of builds. I mean, I'm not even really spoiling a whole lot by saying that he has his special DT build. I think it's like the 9DT build. He has Colossus stuff that he likes to do. He has the standard PvZ meta. He has Cannon Rush. He has all of these things at his disposal. And he's done a lot of these things on his stream. So it is more of a question is, what is TooDming going to be scouting? Okay. Which one? And is TooDming even going to be super aware of like some of the more memey niche things that MCanning sometimes does?
Cool. And going against the grain of the meta, I think would do well for a player. Like anytime you don't know what you're facing and you then do something kind of different, that can lead to an easy win. Oh, sometimes an easy loss as well. Probe going to pull up here and sees pretty normal stuff. Speed at this time is not that uncommon. He's not mining the gas, so if there is going to be a cheese, it'll have to be reinitiated here in a little bit. Otherwise, he's got that cheater overlord, does TooDming, seeing everything.
I think, is this the first player we're seeing with the new Protoss skins from the war chest?
Yeah. Yes, we were talking about that earlier.
Yeah. Really sick. One of the fun things that we discovered, actually, I think, according to Pig, is that the cybernetics core stops spinning as fast when it is researching, and if it's not researching, then it's spinning.
Yeah. Yeah, there were some players kind of complaining about that, I guess, hoping for it to be fixed.
For those who are wondering, by the way, we are playing on the WCS mod, which means that the players see none of the skins, but we get to enjoy all of them. So all of you guys who are super duper angry and hate playing against skins, you don't have to worry because players don't actually have to worry about that.
Yeah, well, I don't know that there's anyone that's really upset about it. I mean, there are people upset about everything, I guess, so of course. You know when Mount St. Helens erupted, they went around to each house and said, hey, like, get out of here. This whole place is about to go. You know they went to a couple people, including one old guy, and he was like, no, this is my home. And they're like, well, this place is going to, you're on a volcano. It's going to blow up. It's going to destroy everything. He was like, no, this is my place. So after I heard that story, it helps me cope so much with like the things people do on ladder or what they get mad about. I'm like, if you can hear someone say the land you're on is about to explode and spew forth hot plasma and lava, and you want to stay there, then some people are going to be upset about skins. It makes sense to me.
I believe it. That sounds like something. You hear that line in a movie a lot, I feel. That's almost a trope in movies.
What?
Like the old, fogey old person.
Yeah.
It's like my great grandfather set up this place.
I was born and raised in Seattle, and you could put just a gigantic excrement dump there, and I wouldn't really care. It's like, I'm not there now, so it's fine.
Okay. Well, with that beautiful thought, we do have the double Stargate coming out, and it is two oracles to start things off. Yeah.
The third one will really double oracle.
Third and fourth.
I like this. It's a high-risk, high-reward play. Obviously, if it gets scouted, there's some pretty overt responses to it. The other thing here, too, is that Zerg naturally has pretty good responses. But what I do like about this is there are a lot of things that if a Zerg does it and they haven't scouted this, they feed themselves into their own kind of wood chipper, so to speak. And then all of a sudden, 8 oracles show up to a base. And the other thing that's fun about this, too, is Zergs don't face mass oracles very often. TooDming plays a lot of StarCraft, so obviously he has faced it. But it's not like he has a stock, this is what I do against that. So how many spores do you make? How many queens? Do you go straight into hydras? It's all kind of a little bit harder for him.
This is already kind of bad, I'm not going to lie, because we're at the point where just a lot of roaches have been made. He's sitting on 49 workers and isn't getting aggressive with the roaches, just kind of poking with the lings. He only has 5 queens.
Yeah.
No spores, or I guess he has actually the spore in each one of the bases, which is like the
several
standard.
Spores.
Yeah, there's several spores, which is pretty close if you think about it to the number 3.
Yeah, that's pretty close.
It's only 3 away.
Well, I'm sorry to be the old pessimistic guy, but like, yeah, the funny thing is we're like looking at this, we're like, the Zerg's got nothing. And then he's like, oh no, there's oracles. 17 queens, 16 spore crawlers. There's the answer. It's like,
doesn't have a Hydra Den though, Jeff. I don't know. This looks pretty bad for TooDming.
Wait for it.
Okay. Tell me when the thing I've waited for has arrived. Okay, the Hydra Den's on the way. Queens are going down one by one.
Queen.
Spore Crawler just gets focus fire down.
Yeah, wait for it though. He's got him right where he wants.
All right.
Up here in a second.
I'm waiting, Jeff. I'm a believer.
Yeah, it's gonna be after.
Down to 29 workers.
Not enough. Not yet.
Okay, but don't worry. He's canceling the pylons at the third.
Yeah.
He's gonna get the third base.
Okay. Hold on.
So hold on. The Oracles are almost out of energy.
Response from the Zerg.
Ah!
Almost here. Now
He's
with that
been pushed
Hydra
back.
done.
He's been pushed back. Only 2 of the Oracles have energy now. So you see.
But he kills the third, Robbie. So is it worth it? At the end of the day?
Is it though?
Is it though?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Actually,
it's
it's
a
kind of
tough one.
funny. I'm being sarcastic, but they actually don't have energy. I mean, he's got to win with this fight right here.
He's got a shield battery.
Do some damage though.
He is gonna do a little bit of damage, but I mean the Oracles.
Oh, there's a Void Ray too.
If they even have 5 seconds of energy with this many, you can still kill about half of the Ravagers.
Yeah. And TooDming's gonna hold on, but right now he's getting doubled in supply. The Oracles did catch him completely off guard, and joking aside, that many Oracles pulled back when they get wounded like that are pretty darn good, because what do? If you run the drones, well, then the Oracles insta-kill you. If you keep them there, you insta-get killed. And that's why this kind of strategy will get you a cheap win. It really will. He could have done this against someone like Dark and maybe pulled out a win. Now, of course, Dark's like the king of going way behind and coming back. I don't know that TooDming is, but he's in a spot of trouble. We just saw the graph. There was like 36 drones dead, or
there was
7.
There was a short period of time where he had lost more drones this game than he had made, or won, I mean, or kept alive.
Some mixture of what you just tried to say there is.
Pick a couple of those words and form a sentence for yourself.
It's a Rubik's Cube of commentary. For those of you at home, I'm going to say some words. I need you to put it together.
This is the fill in the blinds or fill in the blanks of commentary.
What was that? Bandersnatch or the Netflix Black Mirror? You don't watch TV,
Oh, no, I don't.
My God.
I watch sports anime.
Sports anime? Oh. No more about that.
No, it was great because you were asking me about, you were like, do you watch football? Because you're asking me about the Super Bowl. And half of me was like, yes. The other half was like,
anime.
I know a great football anime.
Yeah. And you do too, don't you?
I do. It's called Ice Shield 21.
I need to introduce you to my roommate, dude. He's an anime guy too. I think you guys would get along. Storm queued up, which is not... I mean, what's the follow-up here? It's Blink, Storm. Normally it would be something like Immortal or something like that. So this is MCanning being a little bit offbeat again. Obviously, all these things are good. And with the Stargate and Lurker Den at the same time from TooDming, by the way. So his response is going to be, I'm going to Mega Turtle here.
So here's the thing that I like about TooDming and how he's playing this is, of course, he has to get up some defenses versus the Oracles.
Yeah.
But the Oracles aren't actually diving in for worker kills anymore. And TooDming droned up like crazy. There's the weird thing that happens when a Zerg player's behind, right? Where you have to say, do I make more units because I think they're going to immediately follow up all in me? Or do I just make workers?
Yeah.
And he just made workers and hasn't been attacked. I think that MCanning is looking to make the attack now, so this still could be a big vulnerable immediate death position. But I think that TooDming actually kind of read the situation better.
Well, I like what you said. TooDming very well could have been dealt a death blow earlier, so this is him gambling, like you said. You either make drones or you make units. And drones were the right call. I think what's kind of funny about this too, but MCanning probably could have jumped on him with the Oracles, because he just assumed something else would have come out in response to the Oracles, but almost nothing did. Now, as we can see here, MCanning manages that huge supply advantage, and it is an army. Workers, MCanning's only up 6, because as Robbie said, the droning was hard. But army quite a bit up there. And the tough spot about going into Lurkers is there's already a ton of Oracles. So detection's not a problem here. It's about having a significant number of them.
Yeah. Also, the fun idea that your Oracles are going to be running into 8 Spore Crawlers of defense at the third is a little bit funny to see. Not usually what you end up spotting out in these kind of games, but Roach counterattack in the bottom left might actually buy just a little bit more time. Now, these Roach's lines are probably going to be forfeit. Is it worth it?
Well, the Oracles have a lot of energy, so I think they just come over here and absolutely eviscerate this unit. Yes, it gets a cancel, but I think all the Roaches die, albeit it takes a little bit of time.
Gotta chase him down. His Roach's speed might even trigger a stasis trap and survive.
Well,
boop. Yep. Darn it. So, 4th base gets reestablished. We got a couple of drones going down. I think that was just on the south side. And some Adepts trying to shade on in. Little bits and pieces of damage, but I really do feel like TooDming is gradually making his comeback. He's got those Lurkers, like you said. in pretty high numbers. So even if you spot them out, you still got to have the units to actually jump on them and deal with them.
Yeah, I think he's in a tough spot. I don't know that I would call it a comeback just yet. He's still kind of floating significantly down in supply, and he's being held to 3 bases. MCanning establishing the 4th and using stasis wards to make this map a tricky place for the Zerg to move out on is really, really cool. Yes, he's turtling with lurkers, but already MCanning, as we just saw, is transitioning to carriers. So if enough time passes and those carriers become something like 7 or 8, have all the lurkers you want. You're just dead. And I'm liking the flow of MCanning right here. And that's not my typical thing. Usually I feel like when someone gets ahead, I'd like to see them kind of secure the deal. But MCanning's going to play this one closer to the chest. And he just lost the first series, so why not?
Yeah. Totally makes sense. And I think just playing it out safe is definitely something that I can sort of get behind, just because...
You can definitely sort of get behind it.
I can sort of get behind it. Like, I'm at a 45-degree angle behind you right now.
If I turn around, you're like just in my peripheral view.
Like if you turn over,
what are you doing over there?
If you look at the wrong shoulder, I won't be there. But you look at the other shoulder, and you're like, oh, there you are.
There you are. Yeah, there you are. Yep, I support you, kinda. All right.
I know that he is a player that you and Nate were talking a little bit about this before, but he is one of those players that I think has struggled a bit in tournament settings and kind of had those nerves pop up. So playing the safer play and not taking massive chances or ways to potentially throw the game like that, I can get behind that.
Yeah, of course, like anything else, there are limitations to that, right? So he's got the 4th base. He's, for all intents and purposes, maxed out. He's now canceling another 4th base attempt. It's going to be time to go here fairly soon, and that's why the carrier transition's a little bit weird. Because ideally, these numbers click in and then you're going, but instead he's going to wait a little bit longer, get a 3rd and 4th carry out, which doesn't really transform the effectiveness of his army that much at all. And then he's going to fight a now maxed out TooDming, who again, doesn't have much of a bank, doesn't have much bases, but is maxed out, Ravi. So it's, to your point, the comeback, this is the best thing that TooDming could have hoped for, I guess.
Okay, the army's finally making its way forward. +1 air weapons is finished up, and +3 ground weapons for those Immortals and Archons are going to be finishing in a split second. There's the Revelation catching every single one of those lurkers on this side of the map. We got a massive counterattack on the other side, getting a lot of stasis traps, but enough Lings and the lurkers, most importantly, survive long enough that they are going to be able to burrow and force MCanning into a difficult situation. He is walking his way back across the map.
I got a sneeze coming on, so just all you.
Okay. All right. Well, the Zealots coming on forward.
There you go.
Trying to go for some kind of run-bys into the natural at the same time, but those get cleaned up. A couple workers go down. The 4th base goes down, and while MCanning does have another 4th base established on the top, this is
Let's call it a comeback.
A lot of time.
Let's call it a comeback now. That was Lings and a bunch of lurkers, and the lurkers are nice, but ultimately not super important in the overall grand scheme of things, right? Like, it's carriers now, it's a mothership, and he still had the other 7 or 8 lurkers or something like that back at home. So he took units he doesn't really need, killed a 4th base.
Yeah, that was a nice snipe off. That is pretty big, like you said. 4th base being denied is what's kind of keeping MCanning, I guess, still a little bit ahead.
And the Oracles are a little bit funny. I talked about this in earlier with some of our other situations. Phoenix fall off in the later game. I don't want to say necessarily Oracles super fall, but they kind of do. Obviously, you want to have 2 or 3 to continuously reveal, drop some stasis wards. All those kind of things are great. But the 8 that he has right now, it's a bit excessive. You get more stasis wards out of that. But they're also not super supply light, keep in mind.
Recall up to the north base? No, he recalled into the main with the mothership.
Oh, adorable.
Oh, okay. Well, that's pretty solid. He catches a lot of the lurkers that were just sitting in the main base trying to burrow in time, but not quite there. Observer also managed to survive. There's no Overseer here, and the storms are just deadly. So as much as TooDming was starting to make a comeback happen, that is not going to be happening anymore.
Now, nice move there from MCanning, but honestly, he's also like 100,000 miles ahead. So it's like, it's a cool move, but you're styling on somebody you probably could have killed about 10 minutes ago. Well done by MCanning to take that first game off of TooDming. I thought it was nice, solid decision-making. Like I said, I usually get a little bit impatient with the super safe play, but it's nice to see that out of MCanning in this lower match, or whatever we're calling it. The loser, this is out of WCS Winter, so
yeah, I mean,
bad call.
One of the best ways to kind of break your opponent's will is to just keep them barely alive and just keep it going for a little bit, give them a little bit of hope, and then crush it. Any thoughts?
Best? Yeah. Okay. We'll let that go.
Okay.
I don't know that you should in StarCraft put your opponent in a place where they're going to lose and then like purposely keep them alive, because I've seen that backfire a few times as well.
Name one movie where that's backfired.
I like how you said that, because I was like, he's challenging me. I was like, oh, I see what he did there. I expect you to die, Bond. But well, nice play by MCanning. Likely to face Eric after this. We should have Special taking on Eric in that Latin American match.
Latin American Showdown.
Yeah.
That's going to be a lot of fun, and of course, coming up after this one. But game number 2, we're moving on to Cyber Forest. I have not actually gotten to see many games on this map. For some reason, whenever I'm watching series, like players are always vetoing this map.
Oh, yeah.
How do you feel about this?
I vetoed it almost. Which one is it? Oh, Cyber Forest.
Cyber Forest.
I never know the names of the maps. I don't look at them that way.
Yeah.
No, I play this one.
I wish I could give you like a full screen view.
What's the one that was on the Purifier tile set last map pool?
Oh, Stasis?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's out now though, right?
Stasis is gone.
Stasis
is in Stasis.
Oh, nicely done. I played that map once. It's a beautiful map. It's not even bad balance-wise. I thought it was kind of fun, but for whatever reason, my brain and eyes could not adjust to that tile set at all. I couldn't see stuff.
That's interesting. Because I know I heard there's only one player I ever met who really liked Stasis, and it was Estrella. And Estrella would just do weird stuff, so he's like an exception.
Roddy likes it.
Roddy likes it?
He likes it. He goes
actually,
Tempest
okay,
off
that
the
makes
2
sense
base.
because he loves going to Stargate. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep, just Tempest right away.
Well, regardless, guys, Cyber Forest for our next map. We've already seen this once or twice today before, but I'm really waiting to see what has MCanning kind of got in store for us, and if TooDming has got anything special, because TooDming more playing reactionary, I guess, in that last game. When you're up against a lot of oracles, it's not really a time you can like, I'm going to do my little Nidus Swarm play or something.
No, we don't analyze that game too far. He did not scout the double Stargate Oracle, and it's a weird thing. And the thing I liked about MCanning too is he didn't wait till, like, you can tell he practices, right? It was about, I think, 8 oracles exactly, and it caught TooDming completely off guard. And we don't even get to sit here and say like TooDming was playing mega greedy or anything like that. Not scouting the main is a sin a Zerg commit, and I guess that's what he's guilty of, but it's not the biggest deal in the world. And the game is pretty much decided there, so we'll have to see if he can bring it back. But on the lower right-hand side, on Cyber Forest, it's the blue Protoss, MCanning.
All-American.
That's right.
And starting up here in the top left-hand corner of the map, we have the Chinese Zerg player in red. He is TooDming.
He's all Chinese.
Entirely.
Yep. Well,
I mean, he might have the word Todd in his name, but he's not French.
Yeah. Fair enough. Forward gateway here for MCanning. I would suspect we see something very different. You do not go back to to mass oracle, excuse me. It looks good too. It's funny, right? Because when it works, it really works. But when it doesn't work, it falls on its face super hard. And the tipping point for it's really strange too, because it's not like, oh no, 8 oracles. So what you do is you make 5 spore crawlers every base. That's not really the answer, but you definitely go like 2 or 3, and you just make more queens, which is things that Zergs are pretty happy to do anyways.
Absolutely. I feel like also it's a bit of an NA special. We see a lot of Protoss players bringing it back, even though I think it fell out of style. Exactly the reason you said, because when it loses pretty badly these days.
Yeah. It's kind of funny too, though, and it might work to the profile of this matchup. Like, if you're known to be a fairly cheesy player, I don't think I consider myself a cheesy player per se, but I do a lot of weird stuff. So I get scouted all the time, and it doesn't work nearly as often. But MCanning versus TooDming. Does TooDming know that MCanning will do some off-the-wall stuff? Probably not. So you usually default when you play against someone to they're going to do some fairly normal stuff. And if you ask around, even then, MCanning is not like a mega cheesy guy. So anyone that does know him is not going to tell TooDming, oh yeah, he's super cheesy, look out for all the cheese. It's not really the case.
Yeah. I'm actually really, I don't know exactly the circles that TooDming hangs around in, but I can't even really think of anyone that I imagine would sell out MCanning on his playstyle or anything.
Yeah. Circles or sickles and
MCanning's a pretty well-liked guy.
What's that?
MCanning's a pretty well-liked guy.
He is. Try to think of people that don't like MCanning. Probably Canadians.
Canadians? Really?
Yeah.
I think Neeb maybe is starting to resent MCanning.
Think so?
Just because MCanning, you know, beaten Neeb at Cheesadelphia.
The Thundershaft himself.
The Thundershaft got defeated by MCanning. That was quite a series also.
Did Future Terran qualify for WCS Winter?
Yeah.
Good. I'm excited about
I'd love that you to specify Future of Terran, because there's Future_SC on Twitter, who's the old school StarCraft 2 player,
Yeah.
Brood War.
Yeah, fun fact, I actually beat him with my Protoss in Brood War at a WCG.
You have to specify that you used to be a Zerg player in
I was a
Brood War,
Zerg
for those
player.
who don't know.
A lot of young bucks in this next. I'm excited for Raynor in the European parts.
Yes.
Excited to see if Clem can elevate his play.
Clem, I think, oh, I felt so bad for Clem. He didn't qualify, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm more talking about the year.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I think this is going to be a great year for Clem.
Does he just do that? No, those are gateways. Those are gateways.
Yeah, yeah. 2 more gateways on the way. There is going to be that first Oracle moving on forward, though. And it's just 2 Oracles so far. We'll see if he ends up making a 3rd.
Yeah, and 2 Oracles is normal, but even the second Oracle might make TooDming a little bit concerned. I doubt he hits the red button and starts throwing down spore callers everywhere, but in a best of 3, when you lose that first game, and especially when you lose it to a weird thing, it really messes with your mind.
Okay, I'm not sure if MCanning was momentarily supply blocked or something. He just had 3 pylons finish up and jumped to 70 supplies, so maybe it was part of his build. 3rd Oracle on the way, so the Oracle production didn't get delayed or anything.
Yeah.
If you go past 3 Oracles, that's when you start saying, okay, what are you doing, man?
Well, even 3. I would tell you even 3 is quite a bit.
I think there was a short period of time where you'd see some Protoss players like Neeb or something experimenting with 3, but you're right, it's not really these days.
Well, Ravi, I'm not saying that it's never done. I'm just saying
I know.
it's not the normal.
Okay.
There is some Adepts alongside them as well.
This could actually get quite a bit of damage done, as there's no real units here. There's a single Roach popping on out. Oh, the drones are just going to run away from the Spore Crawler. Bait and switched.
Yeah. A lot of damage coming in, but here comes the Queens. Could have been worse, to be honest with
I really thought it was actually going to be a lot more damage there when the drones started running toward the Oracles.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to micro all this.
Ooh, yeah. A lot of the Adepts also go down.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it's only 4 drones, some missed mining time. Adepts obviously don't translate to anything too significant later in the game, but I would say a good defense from TooDming and a little bit of an awkward execution from MCanning. And now he's got a Void Ray coming out there, and I will tell you, it looks like TooDming's not this kind of Zerg, but the kind of Zerg, well, maybe, that is a Hydra.
Whoa.
When someone goes straight to Hydra and low econ mass Hydras, and you spent money on 3 Oracles and a Void Ray and Adepts without doing significant damage, if you try to take a 3rd off of that, which he is, very often you just die, by the way. You just kind of die.
Got a shield battery going up, so that is going to help out versus a small number of Lings. The Void Ray, like you said, is going to be helpful for dealing with some of those kind of early attacks to establish your 3rd base. TooDming, even though the Hydra Den is finished up, he's going back into droning, so maybe there's a little bit more time here for MCanning, but it is still a lot of units as 3rd.
Yeah, they're already here. You can see the Void Ray is going to slowly kind of clean this up. The Oracle's doing with the camp. Only a couple of them have their energy going. No, it's actually a bit.
He'll defend okay. He loses all of his ground units. Not the end of the world, because it's mostly just Adepts and stuff. It's not sentries or high-value units.
It's great for MCanning, I would believe. A little bit of a weird attack from TooDming. He was droning behind that, as you pointed out, and he's switching to Hydra, so he's like, you know what, I don't need these Roaches or Lings, but you kind of do. They tank really well for that composition. So, I mean, of course, we're watching this in hindsight at this point, so it's like,
yeah, that
was dumb. And he's probably like, yeah, it was, but StarCraft's a game of mitigating mistakes, trying to make fewer.
Yeah. You can definitely imagine a situation where the Oracles are a bit further out of position, Void Ray follow-up wasn't there, and that maybe does a little bit more. But, okay, MCanning got a decent number of sentries. +1 weapons getting close to finishing, as is Blink, interestingly enough.
I was going to say, the army comp of MCanning is a bit confusing. He threw down quite a bit of gateways. He went Blink first, +1 attack. There's the robotic space, which starts to make more sense, especially with Blink. I don't think Colossus. I would think Disruptor and a second Robo. But right now, he's really weak. And, man, he's relying on the I don't know,
I feel like
generosity of TooDming.
Yeah, I could see this. I was thinking if he was going to stasis trap behind where the Blink Stalkers are attacking from, Then he has like a retreat point. He starts pulling back and getting a bunch of units trapped in stasises, taking advantage of the 3 Oracle opening. But I guess getting a cancel is okay. Was that really enough?
I don't know about enough, but it's really good that he is just keeping them on equal bases. That was great.
Yeah.
It is going to be Colossus. I was wrong, by the way. So double Robo Colossus. And here comes this attack. And is that super impressive? Not really. I'm not. The Lings separate from the army. They just like run right by.
Okay, well,
super awkward.
They're going to get a bit of a flanking position. A recall comes out on a bunch of the Stalkers, loses a handful of the units at the same time, gets up to the high ground, though, can force field in the army, and that is going to be a lot of dead Zerg.
Jeez Louise, fantastic force fields, get all the Ravagers by themselves. Some Lings try to fly in there to help, but it's just too late. Now the Hydras are still forcing themselves up here, but this is a lost cause. Blinking backwards is MCanning. Keep in mind, it's Colossus behind this, so what is at the disposal for our Zerg players? Just adding more Hydras and more Lings, all of which die in droves to the Colossus that are coming out.
And TooDming has not exactly been going and actively scouting the natural or the main base or anything, so he doesn't really know about the follow-up robotics bay or the robotics facilities, or how many are actually down or anything.
He is in trouble, my friend. If there was like a Spire behind this in the 4th and 5th base, I'd feel better about it. But he's just remaking his 4th base, and he is taking a 5th, but both of which are not saturated. Yes, he's got a Lurker Den, but no real Lurkers to speak of. And MCanning is playing on point. He spots the new bases, and he's going into the main to harass. And he'll be happy to see that the army composition of TooDming is very, very delicious for this Colossus composition coming out.
Yeah, Adept's buying a lot of space right now. One of them actually shading on over to one of these other bases, able to get a couple of worker kills, but buys himself space to secure his own 4th base as he continues, well, I was going to say continues to get up more Colossus, but just stopping at 3.
Yeah, not a bad idea. I mean, off the double Robo, it would have been cleaner to be at like 4, but you don't go up to 6 or 8 or anything like that of years past. Because the answer to Colossus, it's pretty hard when it goes down, but these 3 or 4 Colossus as are going to be pretty shocking. Because it is just going to be some Lurkers, but you can kind of maneuver around them, right? Or just straight up take the fight.
Well, the big army is here. He doesn't actually decide. Okay, let's see. Sees the hatchery, backs off. He's going to go for it, jumps on those spine crawls before they burrow. There's no way TooDming should want to move up that ramp into all of these sentries. So he's going to wait for MCanning to move down the ramp. Has his units set up to come in for a flank?
It's hard to move in. You want to use the length, the range of the Lurker attack. So he is going to relocate. He's in a bit of a tough spot because he wants to be offensive and defensive at the same time, ideally. It is charged behind this. Still a lack of upgrades between these players, which is kind of silly. And then a fleet beacon.
Yeah, recall happens there for MCanning. Pulls back with the majority of his army. Few other units kind of left behind, and they are going to get caught, but he fully defends the big attack that was coming in over as 4th base. Yeah. And now he's just in position to deal with the other attack.
Cancels out the 5th base, and again continues to give them equal bases, which is really bad for the Zerg player. And here comes the big attack coming out for TooDming. This is a pretty good position in the claw. Wow. Finding themselves 3 out of the 4 Lurkers over there. A decent concave for a Zerg player, but supplies actually doing pretty okay for him right now, and he's going to get a good angle over on top of this Nexus, and MCanning is going to give it up. Now keep in mind the Colossus, you can correct me if I'm wrong, they have the same range as a Lurker, right? So almost every time they're shooting, they're getting two.
They cannot hit those Lurkers from outside the range. He does end up losing that Nexus. He's going to be able to blink forward, snipe off a few of these Hydras, but like you said, that supply definitely leading a little bit further in favor of TooDming. Finally, some charge lots coming in for some counter harassment, going after the Hydras, going after the Queen, since he's not focus firing the down drones or anything. So those will get cleaned up without doing actual economic damage. And MCanning may have his 4th base up, but he's down to a 3-base economy.
Spire about to finish. Hive queued up. Is it going to be Mutas? He already sees Blink Stalker, so I think that's probably a hard no from me. It's just a slightly disjointed timing on the Spire to maybe get towards Greater Spire.
Yeah. If you see just 3 Colossus, do you feel like it's worth getting Corruptors out early?
No.
No?
No, just go to Mutas. He already has Lurkers. Lurkers are, again, not super amazing answer for Colossus, but they're okay.
Yeah. Very nice cancel from MCanning. Denies a 5th base for a little bit. We got Lings run on. Ooh, these stasis traps have been so valuable for him. Yep, Oracle's that base alive.
Low keys and the big MVPs. Again, a great angle over here for TooDming being so aggressive. He's going to get that Nexus, it looks like.
Yeah.
Gets die. Lurkers, again, taking Disruptor shots, but Disruptor's not the best against Lurkers, it's worth mentioning.
Yeah, you need 2 of those Disruptor shots to actually kill the Lurker, so they do survive for quite a bit. The Zealot drop is turned into an Archon drop with a few more units being warped in, forcing some of the Lings back home, but is it equalizing the damage that he has been taking? I don't think so.
No.
This is
TooDming's
nice.
going to pull back, but as he does, Lurkers above ground are vulnerable. Getting shot here pretty good. Again, MCanning doing a great job remaining committed to denying peripheral bases. And with that little bit of Archon harass, throwing some confusion into TooDming's lines, he's also disrupting the bases. Now Mothership comes out.
This is maybe the big final push here for MCanning. If he can't make something happen over here, alongside some of that harassment he's doing on the north side, I do worry for his chances later on in this game, but the Mothership is going to be really helpful if we can get it over to the rest of this army.
Yep. Great Mothership and Oracle play so far. MCanning still just sitting on the 3 bases though, so it is looking really good for MCanning in my opinion, but you'll notice their supplies are fairly even. And TooDming's been really good about being active about Ling counterattacks and stuff like that. So if he knocks out that 3rd, my good feeling about MCanning goes right down the drain because he's sitting on a pretty fragile advantage.
I guess that is the nice thing of having a Mothership, is that it's really hard to attack that base because you need detection for it.
That's it.
Ling's running into the Colossus and the Stalkers for a moment. They start getting some damage on, but they all do get cleaned up. And TooDming down in supply.
He's in a tough spot.
Bailing Nest on the way.
Yeah, the Bailing Nest makes no sense.
Yeah, I was like, what units are you trying to clean up here?
He just doesn't even have the money for it. He's like, I mean, he doesn't have. If he had like some huge bank of gas or something weird like that, I'd understand it. It's for base harass, but right now he's trying to pinch every penny he's got. He's got Corruptors coming out to make these into Broodlords. He has been sitting on 4 bases, so it's not like he's dead broke and there's no chance or something like that. But, anyways.
Yeah, the kind of funny thing is also that MCanning having his bases, both his 3rd and his 4th base, killed off a few times, means that they're still got a lot of resources left on them. So he's mining pretty healthy off those 2 bases, getting up carriers, getting up Storm, getting up Tempest even. So he is in a pretty decent economic position right now.
Yep. Looking better with that 4th base, I would say. When he was on 3 bases, it was a bit of a tightrope walk, but here we go. He's going to push forward over here, in the main siege craft for this army is still those Disruptors. No Storm, a couple of Archons. But he's pushing out a little bit blind, I will say. He did not do any Oracle scouting in front of this, so just now he's doing that to kind of see what he's facing. The Hydra count's not terribly high, though, so I think his army's still pretty powerful.
Lurkers are kind of by themselves. 3 of the Lurkers end up going down between the Disruptors and the Colossus. The other 2 Lurkers not really going to be involved very much here. And like you said, it's penny pinching right now from TooDming. He's only got 6 Broodlords after all of this time that he kind of had. It's because he just can't afford much more. Like, he's got a big mineral bank, don't get me wrong, but he needs the gas.
Yep. He's getting out some Corruptors, but those are a pretty poor response to what he's facing. If it was Tempest, that'd be one thing, but it's carriers backed up by Archons and Stalkers. It's just not looking good.
Okay, a couple of Disruptor shots going off, killing off some of the drones. MCanning playing this very safe, just backing up, expecting that he's going to be flanked. I think he should know that there were some Hydras on the bottom left, but those Hydras do make it back up. MCanning just going to attack from another angle, just poking back and forth.
Yeah. He's got the high ground. He's got Stasis Wards up there. If any portion of TooDming's army gets caught in any of those Stasis Wards, that'll be losses he cannot afford to do. The other thing, too, here is MCanning knows there's not a 5th base, so he says, okay, you're sitting on 4 bases, we're approaching 20 minutes. I think you're mining out. I think you're on your last base or 2, maybe. And I'm on at least equal bases with the rest of the map to play with, so I don't have to go down there. I don't have to go into your Lurkers. You come at me.
Yeah, another Ling Hydra run by. This time, it looks like TooDming has learned that there are so many stasis traps on the map. You got to be a little bit wary about it. So he pulls back and sends a couple of Lings in to lead the charge, but MCanning is still making some progress further forward. Losing a lot of the interceptors, so wants to pull back.
And here comes that counterattack. There's the insta-recall. Kind of a slow reaction from TooDming. I mean, he's now running away, but it's kind of like, well.
Already going to lose those units. Yeah. MCanning's nearly maxed out again, and this is on Carriers, High Templars, Archons, Disruptors. This is the big Doomsday Protoss army. What has TooDming got? He's got 6 Broodlords?
Yeah. I think there's a corruptor count out there, right?
Yeah, there are 10 Broodlords, 6 Corruptors, 4 Lurkers.
6 Corruptors. 6 is kind of an awkward number.
Yeah,
I don't know what they do to carriers. It's like 4-shot them or something crazy like that, but...
Yeah, that's...
Let's take it 5 more.
That makes more sense, yeah. Because either you want no Corruptors or you want lots of Corruptors. I feel like usually just having 1 or 2 is not super helpful. Stalker's going to be able to snipe out this base. That is a really nice pickup, because you were talking about that 5th base. Just getting a 5th base for 6 or 7 Stalkers, that might even make it out of there alive.
And if he wishes, looks like he doesn't wish. He's like, take a Colossus as well. You know what? Have an Observer.
MCanning lives for the comeback.
Well, I don't know what just happened, but it got really sloppy there real quick. I mean, I know he's throwing away some units, I think. Yeah,
okay, well,
3-star.
You know, this will go a little bit better. When he finds all the Broodlords, just storms the Corruptors away from even coming close to the Broodlords, and almost every Broodlord goes down, all but 3.
The survivors are really hurt as well.
Yeah.
Kind of a sloppy couple of minutes there from both players, I would say, but MCanning attempted to throw the game, and TooDming was like, absolutely not. Aced it right back into his court.
Zealot run by. Oh my god, what are these disruptors doing?
He was throwing him away. I watched him walk
yeah.
away, but there was actually nothing to kill him.
TooDming's like, I know that you want to get rid of these, so I just won't kill them.
They're mine now, friends.
He's like, wait a second, I can still use them. If you just use the disruptors on the hatchery.
Well, I'm sure he'll come back.
Alright, the entire Protoss force is on the north side, just denying a 5th base once again. This really is just the name of the game here for MCanning, is keep killing the 5th bases, and you know your opponent will never be able to make the army they need to deal with this.
Well, it was the name of the game. He's now on 6 bases behind this, and TooDming has been donating, so it's actually just closeout time. It's that song, it's closing time. Like when you get so far ahead that you just realize this guy's not going to leave until I push him out, so here we go.
And he recalls into the main base again, because you know what? This got TooDming to tap out last time. We'll do it again. This is where the hive is. This is where the Greater Spire is. Even spawning pool. So TooDming is in do or die mode right now, and it's seeming like it's die, but for some reason he does feel like it's still do.
Well, it's game 3.
Yeah.
Or no,
or 2.
yeah,
Yeah, but it's still match
point. He
point.
loses this when he's out.
That's
so
true.
He's gonna fight.
And this is the lower bracket match, so if TooDming loses this, this is going to mean that he is knocked out of WCS Winter.
It's pretty safe if you got there, my friend. I'm not seeing it. His corruptor count insignificant. He's got some Vipers. But again, they're only abducting into an insignificant amount of corruptors anyways. MCanning does not have a bank, so to speak, but he's got the more mobile and heavier damage output army. If this does turn into some kind of weird base trade, which MCanning doesn't need to allow it to do, the Broodlords would take infinitely longer to go clear out the map.
Yeah, pretty sure that the carriers are more than capable of handling that army, even in that situation. So here we go. I think MCanning just makes a stand over by this base, right? Because TooDming can not survive off of these 2 bases.
No. Like Highlander, this will be decided between this battle right here. These two battle people enter, and only one may leave. And here come the Corruptors. They do get an angle where there's not the aid of Archons, so that's nice. But every time they dive in like that, the Interceptors are just ripping them apart. And again, Interceptors can die to things like Hydras, but Corruptors aren't going to do it.
Yeah, and all the Vipers are dead. Broodlords are starting to die. And that's going to be it. Finally, the GG gets called. GG from MCanning, and MCanning is going to move on to that decider match,
where he will face the loser of Eric versus Special, and that'll be the next match we get into. But nicely played. It was good to see TooDming, and, you know, unfortunately, the result obviously did not go in the direction that he wanted, but some really clever play from Eric, who's an up-and-coming and great Zerg, and then MCanning able to get his win off the back of strong mechanical Protoss play. Good to see, and better luck next time to TooDming, of course.
Absolutely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that does mean that with that being done, like you said, Jeff, we are going to be moving to that next match. And just a quick reminder that, of course, all these war chest skins that you actually saw from MCanning, the winner of that series, are available. And if you do decide to purchase that war chest, it does actually contribute to 2019 WCS
25% of it does.
25% of it.
Quarter.
Quarters are a lot. Quarters are the only valuable coin in America anymore.
In
What
America?
In America. I almost said the Americas,
Yeah.
but then I realized that would include China and Australia
Oh, geez.
and all the other places.
It's probably very valuable there, too.
But okay, guys, there it is. See the schedule. We've already gotten through 3 of these matches. 2 more to go. Special versus Eric coming on up for that Latin American showdown. We'll see you there.